So what I was just saying was welcome to the virtual studio, but of course it's a real one, really. It actually does exist here in Alice's house, and I'm no stranger to doing this thing, which is sitting this side of the camera teaching from the piano here. Okay, so here what we're going to do this afternoon is a 30-minute sort of vocal warm-up. Okay, nothing too strenuous, just kind of setting some reminders really for you in your head about, when you're kick-starting back into your singing a bit, the things you really need to focus on. Okay, with no fear of things going wrong. Okay, because you've got to kind of wind it up slowly. First of all, any kind of vocal warm-up, whenever you do that, it doesn't have to be very long. It should not have to be a long, arduous task. Maybe a bit focused on certain things. Now, as you know, I believe in the 5 essentials, which is posture, breathing, onset, lip trills, because they involve all of the first 3 things, and then sirening or the NG hum. So we might not get through all of those this afternoon, but what I want to give you in these 30 minutes or so is something to refer to and sing along with, perhaps on your own. Okay, so number 1, when you're doing any kind of warm-up, you have to be in the right frame of mind, okay? And it doesn't matter if you're doing something else, but you're doing lip trills at the same time, say, but you're actually really focusing on what you're doing bodily. Because, of course, we are very inclined to adopt habits, which are not always good for us vocally. So you have to have a little bit of presence of mind. If things start to go slightly awry, you have to stop and pull yourself back to concentrating on what you're doing. So a vocal warm-up can be short, but it's got to be focused. Bring your attention back to the issues that you're really concentrating on. Okay. All right, so let's begin. Number 1, just for you, where you are in this moment, you can either be sitting down as I am at the piano, or you can be standing. But one thing we must just think about is any tension that you may have harboured in your body somewhere, okay? Any tension where you might have, physical issues going on. And what we want to avoid is any kind of tension in your shoulders and in your neck. Okay, and actually in probably the lower part of your back. That's why sitting down for me is really good, because it makes me just tuck my coccyx under. All right, so you think about that first of all. Okay, just get in the zone. Just make sure that you have no, shake your hands out, just twist, move your shoulders, maybe raise your arms up. Just make yourself bodily aware, okay? All right, because posture is, of course, really important. And I just, in a moment, when we've done a couple of exercises, give you a sort of mental pause. I want to read you something from one of the books that I have upstairs in the study. I brought it down here, it's right there. Okay, so now as you're getting into the zone, as we call it in virtually vocalese, you're getting into the zone, you're starting to focus a little bit more. I want you to start thinking about your breath. Okay, and I want you to encourage the breath to come and go. Initially, just nice and freely. And what you're focusing on is what's happening down here in the lower part of your rib cage, okay? As the breath comes in and leaves, I want you to really so this is you and your warm-up. You're just kind of tuning in to what your body's saying, okay? You invite the air in and you just let it go. You feel that movement in your lower ribs, and what you should not see here is any kind of idea or indication that you are moving up and down, okay? All right, so once you've got that sort of ebb and flow idea through an open throat, so encourage your mouth to be open as you're doing your start of your warm-up, and let the air come and go through an open throat. Okay, just nice and gently. You're not doing any specific exercise, so that you can feel from the inside out what's going on. Okay, now when you are ready, we'll go through, well, when you are ready, you can start to go through the breathing exercise, which if you've worked with me before, you know what that is. And it is very simply just organising what happens between two exhalations, the breath in the middle. Okay, so we do the exhalation twice through, inviting the air in at the start, and in between is the really important one, and then we just practice how we release and let go at the end. Okay, so I will do it. You don't have to keep up to speed with me. You can do it at your own pace. Okay, so when you're ready, I'm going to start in just a moment, but you can follow me or you can just kind of echo what I do a little bit later. Okay, you might watch and just kind of let it happen for you. So, hold air out, number 1. You feel that emptying, allow the air in, and out it goes. A nice gentle one there, not too long. It's not a race. It's not see how long you can do. It's actually about the feelings. Hi Debbie, I see you're watching. Okay, now the focus on any breathing exercise like that is the breath in the middle, because your body is saying, oh, I'm running out of air here. So one tends to panic, but you've got to let that breath go right to the ultimate point where you then allow that spring, that contraction to go, and through an open throat and a kind of surprised, happy feeling inside, right? You invite the air in and you do it again. And this, of course, is emulating what we do in songs, how we recover between phrases. And the number one thing to remember is you have to let that natural contraction where all the air is gone, hold it, kind of poise feeling, and then release, to get the air to be sucked in by like a kind of vacuum. Okay, so let's just think about that one more time. Remembering you're still thinking about your posture. Whether you're sitting, it's perfectly okay to sit and do this exercise, or standing. You are thinking primarily about your posture as well, okay? You've got the breathing thing going on, but you're checking all the time that point of balance. This is in your warm-up, which need not be very long or arduous. You are waking up your singer body. Okay, because you are your instrument. Okay, so now let's just get really repoised, rethinking, quite natural. Just try to make sure you've got a nice neck extension there by thinking of your head moving forward and up. So there's your crown, where my finger is here, and you just want to make sure that you're not upwards like that, but actually more the reverse. You have this feeling of your crown being the thing that is leading. And you get a lovely stretch up here and then through the back and down into your sitting bones. Okay, so hold air out. Here we go. To the point of nothing left, but you've not collapsed. Invite the air back in. And to the end of the breath. And naturally come to a close whenever you feel that's no good, I've got to stop now. Okay, and what you should be taking in as you're warming up on your own is you are just checking out how your body feels. And the breath in between those two exhalations, this one here, is the one where you often get a much better response from your body, sort of refilling up with the air. And that is the response ultimately any singer wants to happen. You don't want to see a big kind of movement here where we call clavicular breathing. Your clavicle is here. We don't want to see a great big up and down of your chest either. As singing, we have to kind of be very good at illusion, you know, bluffing as to how hard work it is. All right, so that's about your posture. I'll come back to posture in just a moment. But for now, we just thought about the breathing. This is you and your warm-up. What comes next? Just let me move my book. What comes next? Okay, well, I know that we said lip trills are number 4. Okay, but we've already talked about posture and breathing. Next in my essential 5 comes onset. Okay, so onset is where your vocal folds come together for the first time and they actually make sound. That's the point of onset. Okay, now we could get very hooked up on onset. I think Sue's mentioned earlier that onset was her Achilles heel. Okay, and I asked you to think about why that might be, Suze, because of your history going back, you know, and it'd be nice to know how you feel about that period of your life when you had to make all of those adjustments because of your voice. So onset would come next, but sometimes people get a bit worked up about this idea of making a good balanced onset. So next we're going to dive in with lip trills, okay? Because they are very muscular, they're very kind of get you going. We're now sort of coming towards halfway point of a quick warm up. So lip trills are a great way of diving in. Now, I don't know how successful you feel your lip trills are. If you can't actually do brrr, you can always try doing rolled R's, which I cannot do. Or you can try doing anything that requires, that by the way, I was supposed to be making you think about resistance, but that's a whole other chapter. You can do v, okay, you could do, all right, so you could do v, but people often get confused with that. I love the good old lip trill. Anything that causes you to have resistance to the airflow, but not constriction. This is why lip trills are so great, because they offer the best of all things. So let's have a go. Now we've got mixed voices here. I think today we've got a soprano, mezzo, Debbie, I'm assuming you're a mezzo, are you? And Suze, where are you in all of this mix? This is for you to work out, but here we are, I'm sort of playing B flat major. So we're just below middle C. Let's go down one more to A major. I'm going to do lip trills up and down a fifth. And you might remember, if you've worked with me before, the importance of sliding up and down, because you want all these little intrinsic muscles in here to be doing their, passing the baton, you know, you don't want any kind of sudden jolts. Okay, let's give it a whirl and see how you do. All right, so this is you in the middle of your warm-up. You're feeling pretty good. I think you've got it sussed. Your posture is good. I'm going to try lip trills up and down a fifth. We'll do a whole sequence. Here we go, ready? And... lots of tingles going on in here. Now this is you in your warm-up, right? And you'll know how they went or how they didn't. So it might mean that you have to do a bit of work on your lip trills to get that lovely kind of connection, this lovely feeling of balance. And certainly what you shouldn't feel is that you're driving air to get up to the top. It should feel like a little pendulum thing going on, okay? And hardly aware of the breath that you need in between. Okay, you're just opening the throat, taking in more air, and then getting back on board. All right, so no one's making any comments, which is really unusual, because within VV, Virtually Vocalese, on a Saturday morning, we have something like 50 comments by the time we've finished, which is very interesting for me. It gives me lovely feedback. So even a thumbs up would be great. All right, so that's just a fifth, and we covered from the A below middle C, and we went up to, I think we finished around the top note would be an E. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11 notes, 12 notes. Okay, so it's quite a nice kind of stretch over that in a warm up. Okay, but ultimately you will want to stretch your voice higher. Now you cannot stretch your voice by pushing. You'll get constriction. Every time you allow a breath in, with that lovely kind of inviting, we call it light behind the eyes kind of idea, okay, you're encouraging, the diaphragm flattens, it does it naturally, you cannot put it there, hopefully it's working 24/7, down it goes, okay, and at the same time, your larynx goes into a nice relaxed position. It sits rather low. As soon as your larynx rides high, that's when you get what we call constriction in here. And the relationship between your jaw, your tongue, and your neck, you know, it's very important. And the muscles that really govern what we do with our jaw, we think they're all here, but actually the strongest ones are under here. And this can lead to constriction. So ideally, the simple scenario is as you breathe in, you're thinking, oh, all right, kind of like inviting the air in for the next breath. So encouraging the larynx down, and the diaphragm just flattens out quite normally and comes up as you're doing the exercise. And it's all like a lovely choreographed dance. Okay, that's the ideal. Now we're going to go back to our lip trills, but this time we're doing the octave, etc. So this is more arduous because you're going a greater distance, and you may feel a little bit kind of concerned that you're not going to be able to pull it out of the bag. Don't know, because your voices these days, Debbie, yours especially, and Sue's, I don't know your voices as well as I know Sue Louie and Sophie. I don't know your voices as well as I know their voices, and I know how they react. I can almost see their faces in my head. Okay, so you'll have to give me some feedback after this live session, and I can offer some sort of some ways to get around these issues. All right, so here we go, back down to lip trills, and you're still warming up, you're feeling a bit more adventurous, and you're thinking, okay, let's go for the octave. Even, balanced, no pushing air, no funny expressions. Okay, here we go, ready? And... tingles. I'm wondering if I'm missing out on, I don't think, okay, sorry, no comments coming in, that's fine. All right, so how was that? So you've done a progressive kind of where you're going in your head with your warm-up. You should at this point feel that, aha, I can see what my issues are. Okay, and the paragraph that I wanted to read you from this book, which is an excellent book, I don't know if you know it, but here we're talking about the upright design of the human being. And he says, remember I just told you that the larynx moves up and down. It's actually suspended. It's not attached to the human skeleton at all. It's just held there in place by lots of little muscles and ligaments and things like that. Okay, so we rely on it being happy as a singer in the right position, really hanging out in the best possible way. So what he says here is that many singing teachers are so focused on immediate improvements in the voice that they do not give due attention to the overall conditions on which the vocal organ relies. Some teachers, for example, focus largely on placing the voice or opening the throat, both of which tend to improve the suspensory support of the larynx. The sensory support of the larynx. But the context within which the larynx is suspended is our upright support system, we as human beings, that is, which is the crucial background within which the proper suspension of the larynx takes place. In fact, all of the qualities that we look for in singing, a properly suspended larynx, an open throat, a raised and flexible palate, a bright face and breathing that has been restored to its full flexibility, are ultimately based on the upright system, support system on which an activated vocal system depends. So you can do as much of a warm-up as you like, basically, but if you've not got a real feel for what your proper posture should be, then there are problems. There could be problems over time that develop. And as we all mature, we want to take care of our vocal instrument, which is really my big thing about helping singers to stay vocally healthy. And it has been for a long time. All right, so we're coming towards the end of our 30 minutes, okay? And now, within the 5 essentials, we've covered posture, breathing. That is a huge subject. You're just touching on it here. And then we've done a little bit about onset. We've already done onset, actually, with your lip trills, because you made a sound. We've done lip trills, which requires lots of things to come together. And before we finish, we're going to talk about the NG hum. We're going to do some NG hums to see how that's hanging. Okay, and within the NG hum is the notion of onset even more. Okay, so we're not making it ultra complicated today. This is you on your own doing your warm-up, and you're checking these vocal facts out. You're making sure that you're connecting, that you're thinking about your body, and although your instrument is here, the larynx is in here, right? This and the rest of you is your instrument also. This is a very important factor. How we feel, how we think about our singing. Okay, all right, so NG hums, just remind yourself, if you don't already know what an NG hum is, it's just like sing, the NG sound at the end of that word, or any word ending ing. And it's going to involve your jaw and your tongue. So the test is, if you can do an and pinch your nose and it immediately stops the sound, you know you're doing an NG hum correctly. Sing! It should just abruptly stop. Okay, now if you've got that, okay, we're going to do the same thing. All right, we're going to do fifths first of all, and we're just sliding up and down. Remember, this is you doing your warm-up, just checking you've got everything organised, and your jaw is the focus here. We don't want any movement forward of the jaw or over opening. It should be nice and relaxed. Okay, here we go. So we're going to start here. We're going to do really simple. Okay, you ready? So time to think about your posture. You think about your jaw. How's your tongue feeling? Off we go. Ready, everybody? And relax. So here we've got a nice little routine, okay, like with all the exercises, part of the rhythm, the routine, the natural pulse of it is really important, because you need your body to get used to responding just like we do in music, okay. So in between each one of these, you get a point where you've sung and you've come back to the bottom, and then you need to release to let the air in. All you have to do is, with the the back of your tongue, which is reaching up and touching the soft palate with the sorry, it's looking down my mouth. Is you just allow the contact of the back of your tongue with the soft palate to just drop away. And as you drop it away, you can feel the air being sucked in, and that should be enough. So we shouldn't see any kind of drop off and back up again, drop off and back up again. You should be just like a swan sailing along. Okay, so we're going to go back to here. I'm going to start there, still doing fifths. All right, just check your posture. Think about, you know, your rib cage should be hanging from your spine, not drooping. So use those back muscles to pull us upright. We require those more and more and more as we mature. Ready? Here we go. Ready? And the last one here. Okay, now let's just go back down. This is you still in your warm-up, okay? And you're going to do... We'll do a few of those, okay? How are we all doing for range, I wonder? I wonder if you're feeling a bit stressed out because, you know, I'm going to be asking you to do... We start on A, below middle C. You're going to be doing an octave, okay? So for some of us, have passaggio issues there, which is like the little bit in your voice, your range, where it's not very happy, okay? And that is purely a muscular thing. That is sometimes holding on to tension, muscle contraction, and then letting go all of a sudden, and it goes, ugh, okay, and you get a little yodel. So how are we doing for range? Okay, when you're doing your warm-up, you must still investigate things that you feel uncomfortable with. But of course, this is where one-to-one mentoring comes in, because you do need someone just to check you out. Okay, here we go. Ready? And check your posture. Where's your crown? Flat major. I'm going to go back and we're going to do tenths. Okay, so we're going from the middle C here up to an E. We might go down actually, because in songs we often have to go that far, a tenth, and it, you know, see it on the music, you think, wow, okay. Alright, you don't get that so much, I guess, in some sorts of repertoire. Certainly doing classical music, of course, it's de rigueur, you expect to see it. Okay, so now we're going to do tenths. So really sliding and no extra push, funny expressions, digging in with the jaw, you know, watch out. Get yourself a mirror so you're singing into, you can see your reflection. It's easy for me because I can see me. Well, it's in some respects easy. Okay, are you ready then? So just check your posture, just coming up to the end of your warm-up. Okay, we've been working for about 25 minutes at the moment. Here we go, ready? And... couple more. Last one. Okay, all right. Now, we're just coming to the end of what would be This, by the way, folks, this is a very, 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 very basic kind of vocal warm-up, because I don't really know within, you know, the people who are watching now, I know 2 people really well, but I'm not quite sure how you're feeling about your singing, so it would be nice to have some feedback. But this is very basic. Okay, we've not done any vowels, not any scales, nothing like that, but Sue's particularly asked for something very basic just to get her started thinking about stuff. If you do belong to the 30 Days of Singing, which you must do, back there are some videos from previous years which you could probably access. But never mind, we've got more sessions coming in April, during April. Okay, so what we do in Virtually Vocalese to finish our sessions off is really nice. Okay, lip trills again, but you could do rolled R's, or you could do, actually Sophie likes to do an NG hum to this, but we just basically cool down with, then we go down, and we progressively work down the keyboard till we're really singing in our boots. Okay, now this is really to do with how happy is your larynx? Really, because I have a big issue about going into my chest area. I don't really go there a lot as a soprano, and it makes me feel slightly anxious when I have to. But we've been really working on this idea of keeping, there's such a thing as a laryngeal tilt, right? Keep everything nice and free and moving and everything. And this exercise, this cool down, really helps to kind of work things out. So here we go, folks. Nice little cool down, and then we will finish. Here we go. I told you it'd be 30 minutes-ish. Here we go. Ready? And... If you can't do rolled lip trills, do rolled R's or something. The sound should stay constant. It's my danger zone. Oh, I lost it. Like an old motorbike. One last one. How did you do? That's a bottom B below middle C. So not next door to middle C, but whole octave in a note. So we've done one. Actually went up to a G in one of the exercises. So you've done about 1, 2.5 octaves if you manage to stay with me. Okay, now that's really quite comprehensive. You could warm up your voice with just lip trills or just a bit of breathing. As long as it's something that is physical and gets you thinking, you get this correlation between the mind and the body. It's called neuroplasticity, folks. And that's actually, if you go back into 30 Days of Singing, you'll see there was another link today to a SoundCloud audio file that you can listen to, and it's all about how we actually learn to do this stuff nice and gently over a long period of time. It's the best way. Baby steps, short, sharp learning steps. Okay, all right, so let me know how you got on. If you've got any questions, just ask. But until next time, look after that voice. Really think about that issue of posture in everything you do. Everything. Okay. Thanks very much then. Until next time, I'll say bye for now.